Good morning.
Hi. She got a haircut.
Really? Which one?
This one right here.
Okay.
In case, dear viewer, the one of you is looking at it going, something looks different. I'm not sure what because it's too early in the morning. She got a haircut. I didn't get a haircut. I guess mine was last week.
No, it was a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Nobody notices when I get mine done. Looks like this. Gets a little thicker, gets a little thinner.
Well, I mean,
Unlike me, I just get thicker, and then I get thicker.
yeah, for several years, probably about 5 years, I've just done trims, so it hasn't really been noticeable. I haven't had my hair short like this since early in our Little Rock days. So
Nope. Back in the day.
back in the day.
It is June the 15th,
Yep.
2022.
Yep.
So, Southern Baptist Convention continues apace in Anaheim, California, except that some of them folks ain't even out of bed
I was
yet
about to say
it's like, the
6:42.
the convention is 2 hours behind. At the same time, the convention may also be 2 centuries behind. That's a different discussion. I am not the captain of my own destiny, nor even of this new day. And so I renounce anew all claim to my own life and desires. I am only yours, O Lord. Lead me by your mercies through these hours, that I might spend them well, not in harried pursuit of my own agendas, but rather in good service to you. Teach me to shepherd the small duties of this day with great love, tending faithfully those tasks you place within my care, and tending with patience and kindness the needs and hearts of those people you place within my reach. Nothing is too hard for you, Lord Christ. I deposit now all confidence in you that whatever these waking hours bring, my foundations will not be shaken. At day's end, I will lay me down again to sleep, knowing that my best hope is well kept in you. In all things, your grace will sustain me. Bid me follow, and I will follow. Amen.
Amen.
So it's Wednesday.
Yep.
We're supposed to talk about creativity, and we're supposed to put the bookmark back in the book. You talk about creativity, I'll put the bookmark back in the book.
So, what happens when you start trying to do a new and challenging task?
I fail utterly, and everybody laughs at me.
No.
No?
No.
I fail utterly, and nobody laughs at me.
No. The failing utterly part is the wrong part.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go ahead and give you a hint. Like supposedly Wordly lets you know, with colors, which things you keep and which things you get rid of.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you, just get rid of the failure part.
Okay. Failure is not an option.
Failure is not an option. You don't fail when you try to do creative things.
Failure is not an option. It's standard equipment.
No!
Comes with ships with every model.
That is not our topic for today.
Sorry.
But the response of other people is our topic for today. When you try to do something hard, especially around people who wish that they could do something, but just never get past that resistance, they can be not kind. And I don't know that it's that they're trying to be mean. It's just that we tend to defend our own inactivity and give reason for it, and sometimes that comes across as discouraging to those people who are trying to push past resistance. And we have enough resistance when we're trying to be creative. There's enough resistance on our own. We don't need other people to help add on top of that. And so, and we need to recognize when other people are striving to be creative and trying to step out. It doesn't even have to be creativity. It can just be trying to do something challenging.
Well, go ahead.
They need encouragement, not, well, I could never do that, or, well, I just enjoy my whatever too much to do that. It's not necessary, and it's actually harmful instead of encouraging.
And this is the spot to kind of pay to really lock in, is that we're not talking about those people who look at you and go, well, it's just stupid, you'll never write a book. Okay, obviously, that's not the way you should treat your friends. Right. That's not the way you should treat strangers. That's not the way you should treat people in general. Well, that's just stupid. you know, we're not talking about the people that are openly mocking. We're talking about learning to encourage and paying attention to how we encourage, because there's a difference in encouraging. Wow, that's great. I'd love to be. I want to be supportive, and I think it's wonderful you're tackling that. That's an encouragement. I just don't see how you're going to be. That's awesome. I don't see how you can possibly do that and keep up with everything else. Well, first of all, most of us carry enough self-doubt about whether we're keeping up with half of our responsibilities in the real world. And so when you throw that at somebody, they start going, "What am I failing at? I'm already failing. I can't do this. I'm going to fail." There's just no way. There's not enough hours in the day for me to do for me to do that. I think it's, and then you throw it. I think it's awesome that you're doing it, but you've just told them that what they're doing doesn't work,
or that what they're doing is going to have to come at the sacrifice of something that that you find very important. Well, you're going to have to make so many sacrifices. You're going to have to, and so they're sitting there going, okay, now other people are going to judge me because I'm not doing this in order to do this, and they're going to consider this to be a frivolous action.
Inflicting suffering on the world around me just for trying to get an education or write a blog post.
And that stifles creativity and keeps people from diving in and trying to do the things that will help them to thrive.
So, and this, whether it is your personality type, whether it's your Myers-Briggs and it's your EQ-PRZ or your Enneagram numbers, or whatever. Well, it's just, I'm just a data person, and I'm a truth-telling person. That does not mean that you need to meet somebody's, well, I was just wondering, I really love to cook, and I was just wondering about opening a restaurant. Well, like 80% of new restaurants fail, and you shouldn't start a restaurant unless you can run it for a year and a half without making any money. You know what? What you've just done is told somebody not to follow their dream and not to express their creativity. You don't have to be the person that throws the wet blanket on everybody. Guess what? Life throws enough wet blankets. You don't have to help them find what's wrong with them.
Well, and I'm a task-oriented person, and I know that I've made this mistake many, many times. A better way to approach that is, that's amazing. If you need help crunching numbers or processing data, just let me know. I'd love to help process information for you if that would be at all helpful to you. And that spins it positively, says that you're encouraging, but it still lets you focus on the task and the data instead of just going ahead and spouting off. And like I said, I've done this. I've erred in this way, and I've hurt people in this way many times, where I spout off all the data because that's the way my brain works. I break things down, I make my lists and all of that. And so instead, it's better to respond and be generic and say, oh, well, I'd be glad to help you make lists or run through data or whatever I can do to help you accomplish this goal, and leave it at that.
Now, creative people, and I think that what we would love to get across is that everybody has some form of creative life within them, but it pushes in different ways. You may not be a cook, you may not be a writer, you may not be a musician, you may not be an artist. That's all well and good. You may just be, a high-tech, a lawn person that's like, no, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it well. I'm going to do it with excellence. That's fine. Whatever your vocation, whatever your calling is, one thing that all of us have to be careful of is not to overread other people's responses, because that's the two-edged sword here, in that sometimes we think we're being encouraging and we're really being a wet blanket, and we need to be careful about that as we say things to others. We also need to be aware of when people say things to us. Don't one of the guys I'm friends with on Twitter, and if you ever met me, you probably wouldn't actually like me, but he has in his bio
negativity time.
He's got in his bio, "Don't hear what I'm not saying," and I like that. He's written a couple of good books. So Eric Schumacher. But anyway, he's one of the the thing about that is we tend to let our creativity dip over onto the hearing what people aren't saying. Where somebody says, well, "That's great," I'd be, if you decide you want to open to look at that, I'd love to help you however I can. And you know me, I'm a big, I'm a list and organization person. If you want me to, I can help you find lists on how to do that. Don't hear them saying, well, you're an idiot that can't make your own to-do list. It may even be true that you are, but that's not what they're saying. What they're saying is, I'd be willing to bring my strengths alongside your dream and help you. For me, if you'd like to open a restaurant and you just love to cook, and I would be glad to eat because that's my strength, especially if there's cheesecake. Okay, but it is. I have all the evidence you need that that eating is my strength.
You're also good at the cooking part.
Yeah. So don't hear what people aren't saying. Don't overread things that folks say and be looking for they said this, because we do want to encourage you to, as you're encouraging others, to kind of back away from, saying those things that end up, wow, how in the world do you keep up with your kids? Well, I'd never be able to keep my house clean. Okay. What you just insinuated is that this person's not cleaning their house. And so you back away from that. Wow, that's awesome that you're doing that, and I'd love to encourage you. Don't hear them also saying, and I bet I really wish he'd ask for help with doing the yard work, because obviously the yard work's not going to get done right. Don't hear those things if they're not being said. And if you think you're not creative, write down every negative thought about yourself that comes through your mind that gets thrown at you by resistance. Just carry a little notepad with you and jot every one of them down for 48 hours. You'll discover how creative you are. Your creativity is just because of conditioning. Bless thee.
Thank you.
Your conditioning has warped your creativity into something against you. So be encouraged. Grab hold of things. And if be an encourager, and realize also that some people's creative flights of fancy do pass on. I had a time that I thought I wanted to open a restaurant, but then I realized something. I don't want to do it every day. I'd have to have one of those restaurants that was like a pop-up. It's like, we're open on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and the third Saturday after the full moon. Because I wouldn't want to go every day. I'd end up being too grumpy with the customers. So, anyway, that kind of thing. All right. Anything else about encouraging? Sorry, I think I took over. No. I didn't mean to. I'll sit over here and quietly drink my coffee now.
Take over. I said my part, you said your part.
Mm-hmm.
Psalm 19, 1 through 6.
Psalm 19, 1 through 6.
For the
choir director,
a psalm of David. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the expanse proclaims the work of his hands. Day after day they pour out speech. Night after night they communicate knowledge. There is no speech, there are no words, their voice is not heard. Their message has gone out to the whole earth, and their words to the ends of the world. In the heavens he has pitched a tent for the sun. It is like a bridegroom coming from his home. It rejoices like an athlete running a course. It rises from one end of the heavens and circles to their other end. Nothing is hidden from its heat.
Psalm 19, 1
Psalm
through 6.
19, 1 through 6. I can't read that.
Proverbs 8, 1 through 4.
Okay. Doesn't wisdom call out? Doesn't understanding make her voice heard? At the heights overlooking the road, at the crossroads she takes her stand. Beside the gates leading into the city, at the main entrance she cries out, "People, I call out to you. My cry is to the children of Adam." Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for sunshine and for air conditioning. And thank you that you are the God of creativity, and I pray that you will help us to encourage one another in that. In your holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Alexa, turn off the ring light. She got it.
She did. Quicker than you had it.